It has been 2 months since I've had my nails done. It has literally been new base coats, new press-ons, bus, club, another club. And I finally had to sit down with myself and say, get real. I finally had to say, grow up. I finally had to say, do your nails right now. So we did it. I started by getting all of my supplies ready, and I'm currently in the process of getting all of my nail supplies professionally organized and redesigning my whole home office. So how satisfying are all of these containers? I'm waiting for all of the new shelving to come in and labels, but for now we have this going on. And if you want a video on that process and a whole before and after tour when the nail product organization is all done, let me know in the comments. Once I pulled all my supplies, I was ready for the long haul because today we're extending my nails. So I put my little high energy lo-fi YouTube video on, I made my cold brew, and settled in. I started to prep my nails by wiping them with a little bit of like an alcohol acetone mixture just because it was kind of in the morning still. I had just done my skincare, I have lotion, I have just all kinds of invisible oil, like even like makeup and stuff. I was just like, I need to get that off before I even go in with the cuticle bit, and look at that towel. So dirty, so worth it. Once that was done, I pushed my cuticles back to expose all of my dead cuticle and skin and get ready for the cuticle bit. And once that quick step was over, I moved on to the cuticle bit because look at all that dried skin on my nails. We gotta get rid of that. And while we watch this, nice to meet you. My name is Katie, also known as Nail Thoughts, and I'm a professional nail tech who has a gel line in collaboration with the Japanese gel brand Kokoist, as well as my own press-on line I just started. I have 2 of my classic designs out right now, which are tortoiseshell and rose quartz that are all linked below. Just nail products by nail people, you know? By nail people for nail people. So definitely subscribe if you're interested in all things nails. Okay, and here's me doing my opposite hand very awkwardly. It is so rough. I mean, like literally using an electric file with your opposite hand while also trying to keep your hand in frame for a YouTube video. I'm brave. Call me brave. Bold, if you will. And here are how my nails looked after the cuticle bit. You can see it pushed up all my skin and cleared off that nail bed so nicely. Then I took my hand file, which is one of those like metal files that you can just buy replaceable grits for a nice clean start. I used this file to buff the shine out of my nail to make sure the surface was nice and matte for the gel to stick nicely to. Because if you think about it, like gel is like Velcro. It needs a little bit of grit to latch onto. If my nail was too smooth and shiny, the gel wouldn't have anything to grab onto and stick to, leaving it to just lift right off. And I didn't spend too much time with shaping the nails because I knew I was putting the gel extensions over them, so I just tapered the shape in a little bit so I wouldn't have to like have the corners of my nails sticking out from under the gel tip when I applied it. I even like to use my nail files to push my cuticles up a little bit and continue exfoliating around that area gently, just in case I missed any cuticle on the nail. Then once I was satisfied with my mattified nail, it was time to cut all that dead skin that's floating around my cuticle to get rid of it. Luckily, my cuticle bit helped me a ton with that, so I don't have to worry about cutting my actual living skin by accident because it really lifted it up for me. Honestly, I usually don't go like super crazy with this set because obviously I have to do the opposite hand too. And no, I'm so sorry. I didn't film me doing this on the other hand. It was too risky. Opposite hand, tripod in between. I was like, I can't sacrifice my blood for a YouTube shot. I hope you can forgive me. But I mean, look, it didn't turn out badly, right? No cuts, no butts, no coconuts. Did you guys ever do that in elementary school? Did you ever say that? Anyway, I was feeling very sassy with myself, man. I was feeling very hopeful for the rest of my nail appointment with myself. Like, wow, it's all downhill from here. Little did I know, I was in for the ride of my life. Okay, so from the start until this moment, the amount of time that has elapsed in this manicure is 54 minutes. I would say for proper timing on this process, take away like 15 to 20 minutes. Filming just makes me go slower as there is a tripod in between me and my hands, and adjusting for the good shot puts me in awkward positions, leaving me to go a lot slower. Extension time! Listen, as much as I am happy that my nails have this much natural length, I'm greedy and I want more. I'm ready to get back to glam. Today, I am using my preferred gel extension tips, the Kokoist Gelips. And the main reason I prefer these to any other brands is because they just feel so much better on my nails because they're thinner and more flexible, just leaving for a much more true and comfortable and less painful fit. I know that sounds really dramatic, but I just have sensitive fingers, and I find that if other gel tips are too thick of plastic, they have less give and less flexibility. It almost feels like if your nails are not that exact tip shape and curve, it really squeezes your fingers and leaves them tender for a couple days. But listen, that could just be me, but that's why these are mine and my clients' preferred gel tips. Also, fun fact, these were the same gel tips that I used in 2020 when I did all my hand-painted press-ons. And if you want more information on how I did that and all the sizing information, then head to this blog post on my website, linked below. I'm going with my usual gelip shape of oval short. They're just so cute. Just a cute tapered oval and just like my dream length, so I don't have to like shorten it or anything. So once I sized my nails and had them all laid out and ready, I buffed the inside of the tip to make them a little more matte, got rid of all the dust on both my nails and the gel tips, and started prepping. I used my clear builder base to put these on, and my first step with this is to just coat the entire nail with a thin coat of the base gel and cure it. This step is basically just to like show the extension gel where exactly to go. Like, gel just likes to be told where to go and likes to have a guide. So without this base layer, it wouldn't have a guide, but with this base layer, it knows exactly where to go. So it'll help. You can skip this step technically, but then you'll just have like a little more mess to clean up in the filing stage. Then it was time to apply the gel extension tips, and honestly, it is pretty satisfying when you get it right. So first, I paint a thin coat of my clear builder base again on the underside of the tip to cover like half of it, as much as I think my nail bed would cover. Then once that's painted, I scrape the edge of my gel brush onto the cuticle area of the nail tip to create this little pool inside the tip. Then I put that edge of the gel tip just below my cuticle to leave some space in between to file, and then gently roll it forward towards my free edge, and the gel just kind of fills everything in. I held it down while I cured the nail, which is the hardest part because I needed to make sure I was keeping it in place and not moving it around to be crooked, and guess what? Gorgeous. I put a little too much gel underneath the gel tip so it seeped out at the bottom, but nothing a file can't fix. Next finger, same process, paint the inside, scrape a pool in the cuticle, roll down and press while curing. All good things coming my way. Just kidding, it was crooked. I fucking lifted my finger before I put it in and it turned slightly and cured completely crooked. I cut the tape, took a couple breaths, and accepted that I had to completely redo it and moved on to the next finger. Crushed that one. Next finger, crushed that one too. Oh, the thumb? Crushed. Cut the tape again and filed off the failed gel extension and started the process over again. It's fine. One more. We got the hard part over with. It's fine. Oh, guess what? It was crooked again. I'm not even lying to you. Honestly, what's wrong with me? Luckily though, dude, deep down, I don't know, it looked exactly the same as last time when I put the nail in. So I literally took it out to check before it fully cured, and I was able to just rip that sucker off and do the whole process over again. Not on camera because enough. And no, I did not film the other hand again because I was upset. And look how great they are. Look how great they look. So great, everything's fine. We've made it through. Now it felt like I was really in the home stretch. We got that horrible incident out of the way, but now I'm feeling the fatigue, okay? The elapsed time on this manicure from start to this point has now been 2 hours and 7 minutes. On to the next step. We are blending the tip with my nail. See this little gap here? We're just blending that out. And I took this kind of thicker diamond bit to do this part. Listen, I usually have another like slightly tapered and thinner bit I use for this, but honestly, it was in my suitcase and I was in not a good mood, and I started being very impatient, and I was like, I am not digging that out in this moment. I am in my home stretch. I'm in survival mode and I'm moving and grooving. So this bit is the one. And speaking of moving and grooving, I moved and grooved way too fast and way too impatiently because of how upset I was that I literally gave myself 2 cuts. I cut my pinky, and then I cut my other hand. So, you know, I literally was about to just kiss my YouTube career goodbye. That's how big of a meltdown I was having over this video. I'm not even kidding. I was like, I'm done here. So if you see any cuts on my nails, you don't see that. Next step, base coat. Now it's for real. We're almost done. Base coat time. I cleansed the nail from all the dust one last time and used my clear builder base again and applied it on all of my nails in a kind of thin coat. I don't need to build with that because gelip tips already have the apex and body built into the nail, so at least that's done for me, okay? Once the base was on, I cured it, and honestly, they looked really good, so my attitude got a little better at this point. The elapsed time of this manicure from start to this point has now been 2 hours and 52 minutes. And it's finally time for color. At this point, I'm ready to get it over with, but I'm very excited because I'm using rose red instead of my personal usual of my favorite red, just because, you know, I was feeling more like glam. I was feeling like I wanted to be a little bit like sassy and less summery, because I feel like my favorite red is very orangey and bright, and I just want to go classic red, which, by the way, do you need any more reds in the Nail Thoughts collection? Like, I know there's so many different kinds of reds. We have like kind of the dark red, movie night. We have this one, rose red, which is kind of like true red. We have my favorite red, which is like really bright orangey red. Do you need any more? I don't know. Let me know. That just came up in my head right now. Anyway, so here's just some nice aesthetic views of me painting the nails before I show you the final product, as well as the final elapsed time for this full manicure.